Thanks, Cronia. Well, nothing quite like a Munster Championship match between Cork and Tip to get everyone's attention in this part of the world. Right now, all eyes on Páirc Chaoimh. Just to refresh the team news for you, Pat Ryan, he's made 2 late changes. The team that started the win over Waterford. Number 19, Owen Downey, and number 24, Robbie O'Flynn, both start, with Luke Meade and Conor Lahan dropping to the bench. It's a very experienced Cork inside line, led, of course, by the Championship's all-time top scorer, Patrick Horgan. He shot 8 points here against the Daysha. Tip manager Liam Cahill, he's made 2 changes to the team that beat Clare in a shootout 2 weeks ago. The McGrath brothers drop out, with Conor Stakelum and Sean Ryan moving in the opposite direction. They'll wear 12 and 15 respectively. Now, just before this evening's game gets underway, we're going to have a moment's reflection in memory of the late Brendan Walsh from Killea. He won a number of underage county titles with Killea, also played minor hurling for Cork in 1990 when they met Kilkenny in the All-Ireland final, and went on to represent Cork at under-21 and junior level, and also was on the bench for the 1992 All-Ireland senior final. So we remember Brendan Walsh, who lined out with Killea, Imokilly and Cork during his career. And we'll also take a moment to remember the late Ellen Clifford from Fossa in County Kerry this evening, mother of the Kerry footballers David and Paudie Clifford, who sadly passed away earlier today.
We also sympathise today with the family of the late Ellen Clifford of Fossa, mother of Kerry footballers David and Paudie. There is no regression.
Well, it's just like old times here at Páirc Chaoimh as these 2 sleeping giants of Munster prepare to go head-to-head. Our match referee, Paul O'Dwyer from Palatine in County Carlow, his linesmen, James Owens and Liam Gordon. Tip won the toss. Noel McGrath has decided to play with the wind into the Black Rock end here at Páirc Chaoimh. It's time for 2 of the perennial title contenders to take centre stage again. We're off and running in the Munster Senior Hurling Championship round-robin series. Well, as you will have gathered, the atmosphere electric. Some 35,000 people on a beautiful summer's evening. And Cork make an early statement of intent. We'll hear in a moment from Seamus Hickey, who's alongside me. First, a chance to see Patrick Horgan just outside the 45, shooting into the city end. It's the lead for Cork inside 40 seconds.
There's a lot of bodies moving around here, Mike. Tommy O'Connell winning that free, gone to midfield now for Cork.
Well, in case you joined us late, those two late changes for Cork, Owen Downey and Robbie O'Flynn, both start. It'll obviously take a while for things to settle down here. Kieran Joyce, the Cork centre-back. Will he stick or will he twist? That's one of so many questions we'll have answered over the next 70 minutes. Dan McCormack in winning that dirty ball, winning a free. And as expected, Seamus, Tip pumped up, fired up.
Yeah, so Cork last week against Waterford had the rule of the middle of the field. Tipperary are not going to give them that. You've got a lot of physical contact there. Rob Downey couldn't get the ball out of his hand. Great turnover by Tipperary. Dan McCormack really pumped up winning that free.
So Jason Ford sizes up the target. Hit 2-6 against Clare a fortnight ago. Breeze behind him, just outside the 65, shooting into a jam-packed Blackrock end. It's high and straight and true, and it's the equaliser. Well, the crowds have been streaming down to the park here for the last few hours, getting the best seats in the house good and early, as Ronan Marr goes highest to win that ball initially. Loses it though when he landed. Cork playing with a two-man inside line. One of them is Harnedy. Ball popped back to Dara Fitzgibbon. He had 8 possessions inside the first 5 minutes here last Sunday. That first shot is away to the left and wide.
It's not often you see Ronan Marr turned over in the half-back line. He comes up with a ball. Great ball into Seamus Harnedy. Great offload.
Well, it looks like Cork have left Robbie O'Flynn in there close to goal here in the early stages. This ball is delivered to the opposite corner. Lovely first touch from Horgan. He's there in front of Paul Barrett. Spins away from the defender. Horgan bats it just wide. Barry Hogan came out to narrow the angle. Cork moving the ball quickly, using their pace. And it was Horgan who got in around the back, beat Barrett. Couldn't hit the target. Yeah,
it's not easy to be called Barrett for pace. Patrick Horgan, 35 years of age, he's really put it through the gears there. The touch was just the wrong side of the post. He's as dangerous as he ever was.
Again, nothing easy around the middle. Fierce scrap for possession. Man who has the ball in his hand there is Tommy O'Connell. Racing away goes Shane Barrett. He's got Seamus Kennedy in pursuit. This is Brian Roach. Roach, shot blocked brilliantly. Well, Cork attacking the Tip goal from all angles here in the first 3 or 4 minutes, and Tip managed to hold the line. Noel McGrath using those wrists to deliver the ball down into the corner. Won by Sean Ryan. Pop back to Jake Morris. Morris off his right-hand side, looking to push Tip out in front. It's away to the left. Everything, Seamus, being done at 100 miles an hour in the first 4 minutes.
Including puck-outs.
Cork turned defence into attack. It's Harnedy, shortens the grip, takes the score, and Cork lead.
Both Barry Hogan and Patrick Collins looking for fast ball out from their puck-out. And
good control by Decky Dalton. It's all opened up. Dalton still going. Goal! Declan Dalton. Páirc Queeve erupts with the colour and the noise. Cork strike for the first goal, and it's Declan Dalton, in so many ways the most unlikely of scorers.
Yeah, the finish was exactly what Patrick Horgan was trying to do a few seconds ago. That puck out from Barry Hogan intercepted. It was really, really bad through the middle. You need to be sharp if you're going to put the ball through the middle with all these bodies.
Brilliant tackle by Jason Ford in the middle of the field. Again, the scavenge is on to try and win the break, the second ball. That's Dan McCormack. Looks like he started at midfield. Pops it out through the side door to Alan Tynan, and the man who's played rugby with Munster and the Irish under-20 team. Well, he was not going to be found wanting in the physical exchanges, and he's won a free.
He looked like he was actually looking to gain ground there past the gain line, but in fairness, the pace is frenetic. The ball is changing hands every half second around the middle of the field. I wonder when we were going to get a breath at the start of this game.
Just some of the matchups that have caught our eye here in the first 6 minutes. It's Cathal Barrett on Patrick Horgan, Kieran Joyce picking up Jason Ford, and Niall O'Leary has got the job of tagging Jake Morris. As we watch Jason Ford from Silvermines. Target practice for Ford. He is one of the very best in the business. It cuts the gap to 3 points. Patrick Collins short to Kieran Joyce, and he goes long, looking to stretch that Tipperary defence. Robbie O'Flynn facing away from goal under pressure. That will be a 65.
I'm amazed that Cork are creating the pockets of space that they are. You can actually see Robbie O'Flynn. He darted out of the centre, so they're bunching their forwards in the full forward line and breaking out. They did it against Waterford effectively with Conor Lehan from the half forward line. Robbie O'Flynn tore out from the middle of the field to win that ball, and great block in the end, but it was a 65 for Hoggy.
Liam Cahill and Mikey Bevins watching on. Their team have fallen 3 points behind here. Declan Dalton scoring the Cork goal. Patrick Horgan, 22 goals and 524 points coming into this evening's game. That's 2 in the first 7.5 minutes, and he tops up the Cork advantage. Barry Hogan looking to leave it down on top of Dan McCormack or Garrod O'Connor. Ball ricochets off a couple of hurleys. Liam Cahill looking for more effort, more intensity. That's the foundation stones of Liam Cahill's teams, of course. Won 3 All-Ireland underage titles with Tip. Has returned from Waterford to try and lead the senior team to more success. Cork this time leave 1 up. Ball doesn't stick. Seamus Kennedy robbed on the way out by Dara Fitzgibbon. Ronan Marr, quick hands. They had to beat Jason Ford, but there was a late hit on Ronan Marr. Paul O'Dwyer will bring it back for the free. But that middle third already, Seamus, is turned into a war zone, a battleground.
Yeah, and it had to for Tipperary to be successful against Cork because of the damage they did last week. I'm surprised at the space that's been left inside for one-on-one for Hoggy and Cathal Barrett, but Cathal Barrett on that occasion proving up to the task, and he has the pace on Hoggy, but I wouldn't be comfortable in that much space if I was in the full back line.
Yellow card for Rob Downey. His brother Owen missed out on last weekend's game due to suspension. Returns this evening, comes straight back into the team. Jason Ford, Tip's only scorer so far. Shooting with the aid of the wind. And again, he's deadly accurate. Ford, a veteran of these big Munster Championship games, made his debut 10 years ago. That's a very precise puck out from Patrick Collins to find Ger Mellerick. Niall O'Leary, it's sat up a little too long, but O'Leary does well. Wearing the helmet tonight his grandfather bought for him when he was 15 years of age. Dwelt on that ball. Tip shut him down. This is Seamus Kennedy who gets the snapshot in, and it sails high and over the bar. It's Tip's first score from play. It comes in the 10th minute. Yeah, all from the work of Noel McGrath. Incredible work to block down O'Leary on the sideline. Just too much playing around in the Cork full back line, middle pay. That's 8 points now in the championship for Seamus Kennedy. Good work by Johnny Ryan, just his second championship start, to Noel McGrath, the link man, Alan Tynan, and there's the diagonal ball. Lovely first touch, just ran away a little then from Sean Ryan. Garrod O'Connor trying to hold off Shane Barrett. O'Connor gets room to shoot, but Barrett's tackle had knocked him out of his stride, and that's a second Tip miss. I'm really interested to see what Garrod O'Connor is going to do here at number 11.
put him in a central position. So much promise from this man this year, from Fitzgibbon Cup all the way through the league.
There's the scene in front of Patrick Collins. Cork looking to service Seamie Harnedy on the wing, beaten by Dan McCormack. And here's Alan Tynan again. Strong run, shortens the grip, but he was tracked every step of the way by Tommy O'Connell, who made life difficult for Tynan. And that was well wide in the end.
Yeah, whatever Cork can do the far end, Alan Tynan can do the other. Look at the hard running through the middle of the Cork defence. That was a super block by Tom Kennedy.
It's only
Tommy O'Connell.
A second day out in the championship for Alan Tynan, but showing that he's a fast learner. Here's a speed merchant in his own right, Robbie O'Flynn. Beat the first defender, couldn't get past the second, and Michael Breen lets it go long. Tips forwards are on the move. That's Sean Ryan. And Sean Ryan, who made such a big impact off the bench against Clare, gets his first, and the gap is back to 1.
Yeah, if there's a characteristic ball in Tipperary hurling, it's the crossfield ball. Sean Ryan, really impressive in the last 10 minutes against Clare in the first round of the Munster Championship. And he's great touches so far, great score.
That's 3 points in a row for Tip, and they're right back in this match again. Collins looking to give Seamus Harnedy something to run onto. Beaten in the foot race by Conor Stakelum, one of many All-Ireland under-20 medal winners out here tonight. Kieran Joyce just misjudged the bounce of that ball. He's caught on the back foot. Jason Ford, not so much. And Ford cuts inside, nails the equaliser. May have picked up a knock in the process, but just look at the speed from Ford when he won that ball, and the finish was emphatic. Game restarts already. It's been a breathless first 13 minutes. Conor Stakelum back to help out in defence again. That was Dara Fitzgibbon closing down Ronan Maher so quickly. Away from the crash site comes Brian Roach. Shot is high and just across the face of goal from Shane Barrett. But there's no doubt, Seamus, if you can beat that press, if you can get out of that middle third, there's so much space at both ends.
Exactly right, and it's really just a question of avoiding the turnovers and getting a clean ball, but it's not easy to do.
Noel McGrath, 3-time All-Ireland senior medal winner, sprays it across the field, looking for Sean Ryan, beaten by Damien Cahalan. Plays with the county champion St Finbarrs to Kieran Joyce from Castlemartyr. Scans the full forward line, instead delivers it in towards Dara Fitzgibbon. Tried to twist out of the tackle, but he was caught. Cork have a free here. They didn't appreciate the challenge on Fitzgibbon, and Paul O'Dwyer wants a word with Ronan Maher.
And this is what happens, and you're seeing it an awful lot more in the games these days, is when the collisions are fast and regular, it's really hard to get them right. And if you get them wrong when a player dips, look, you can see Dara Fitzgibbon here, when he dips, when Maher comes in, bang, yeah, that's badly timed tackle right to the side of the head. And if you get them wrong, the consequence is at least a yellow card.
So Ronan Maher booked for that high tackle on Dara Fitzgibbon, who's still down. But this stoppage, Seamus, just gives us a chance to take stock. 14.5 minutes gone. Cork's early lead wiped out.
Yeah, it really has been breathless. But what Tipperary have done very, very well is get out of that mess in the middle. One pass out to the wings. Noel McGrath with his crossfield ball. Brian O'Mara crossfield ball. Get it into the space, into Sean Ryan doing really well inside.
Well, let's take another look at Declan Dalton's goal. Didn't hurl with Cork last season, but back with a bang here at Páirc Chaoimh tonight.
There's a Cork man who will absolutely love watching that, and that's Donal O'Grady. Donal O'Grady coaches batting inside the 14-yard line. He will be very impressed with Declan Dalton and his finishing abilities.
Well, that goal from Declan Dalton put Cork 4 points up after 5 minutes. But a string of points from Tip mean that we're back to square one. Good to see Dara Fitzgibbon up and good to go. The Cork support out in big numbers tonight. As all eyes again turn to Patrick Horgan. Strong sun shining into his eyes. Horgan drills it right over the black spot. Cork back in front.
That didn't even look like a clean lift from Hoggy. He's just got such a clean strike. It's amazing.
Well, Liam Cahill has been forced into a change here. Number 22, Mark Keogh, is in for Jason Ford, who just didn't look comfortable after he broke through to score that last point. Looked like he may have nicked his hamstring. Not a bad replacement to have, though. Mark Keogh from Kilsheelan, Kilcash. So away we go again. Ball booted away. Picked up by Jake Morris. Again, he's hugging that left touchline. Goes for the spectacular score and gets it. It's his first. It was worth waiting for. And Jake Morris picks up where he left off against Clare.
Now, this is a man who has shown so much promise since the All-Ireland under-21s for Tipperary, and he's really shown through today and the last day against Clare.
Patrick Collins' puck out delivered to Harnedy. Here's Robbie O'Flynn. Plenty of height. Umpires have taken up a good position, and they flag that as Cork's fourth wide. Everything being done at high speed, as you'd expect at this stage of the Munster Championship. Everybody competing for those precious places in the Munster final or the All-Ireland series. And what a big say this result could have on the final standings. Both teams coming in with wins after their first round matches, so something has to give. That's Conor Stakelum taken down in full flight. Tip will have a chance here to take the lead.
It really does feel the story of the first 17 minutes has been who can survive the mess in the middle, who can pick up the dirty ball, as we see Conor Stakelum again winning the hard freeze, going at the Cork half-back line, running hard. But Cork turned over twice in the space of 3 seconds, I'd say, in the middle of the field.
So with Jason Ford off the field, Garrod O'Connor will take over the free-taking duties for the moment. Fitzgibbon winner with UL earlier in the year. This is a good one for him to start. Dead straight in front of the goal. And Garrod O'Connor opens his account in the 19th minute. Patrick Collins trying to mix up the puckouts. Finds Robert Downey. Has the power to hold off a couple of tip men. He was fouled in any event.
You're going to see an awful lot of short puckouts, Mike, today, trying to beat that middle cluster.
Seamus, while we get the chance, just to jump back, the two changes Pat Ryan made before the throw-in. He brought in Owen Downey and Robbie O'Flynn. What was the thinking behind that?
Well, one of the chief ones was springing Tommy O'Connell to midfield, and you can actually see in the first exchanges that he's been an absolute dynamo around the middle. But for me, Robbie O'Flynn is speed into the inside line, and that was always the reason to introduce him in there.
Patrick Collins is going to have a go here. The Cork goalkeeper is going to drop on the edge of the square dangerously. The break picked up by Cathal Barrett, multiple All-Star winner, cool as a breeze, and with a couple of neat stick passes, Tip move the ball away from danger. Noel McGrath, the playmaker, spots the man in space. Seamus Kennedy sets his feet, lets it rip down towards the Blackrock end. A second glorious point from Seamus Kennedy, and Tip double their lead. Patrick Collins had a second sliotar ready to go. Cork are out, and it's Kieran Joyce. Paul O'Dwyer is playing an advantage. Shane Barrett trying to make the most of it. Looks to have the legs on Johnny Ryan. Lovely skill from Shane Barrett in full flight. Would have been some score. Flashes across the face of goal. 5 wides for Cork.
A very exciting player, Shane Barrett. The league was one of Cork's best performers. Just the end finish just didn't fit in there.
Tip have hit 7 of the last 8 points in the match. They've recovered from that slow start. 5 different scorers already for Liam Cahill's team. A rare chance for everybody to gather their thoughts, including the management teams down there underneath us in the south stand. Damien Cahalane with the sideline cut, didn't make great contact. Brilliantly picked by Declan Dalton. He's got great skill for a big man. Lost the ball though in the heavy traffic. Kennedy again in the thick of it. Out through the back door to Noel McGrath, who as always uses the ball so well. Here's Alan Tynan. Tynan! What a way to get your first score. Alan Tynan from Rossgrey announces his arrival at Páirc.
Yeah, again, it was Noel McGrath picking out the pass. And look, Tynan over by the left sideline, no problem, turns inside. Great to see him take a score and increase the confidence for all the forwards in the Tip side.
Well, Tip are into their rhythm now. Rested and refreshed after that 2-week break since they won the shootout against Clare. And they've got their second wind here. Again, it's a Tip man who reacts quickest to the breaking ball. It was Mark Keogh. Paul O'Dwyer blows the whistle.
Just so we see Kieran Joyce down, Mike, it's the intent of the Cork forwards is very, very clear. Declan Dalton, Shane Barrett are running as soon as they get the ball, attacking that Tip half-back line. But if they get turned over, the hard runs are creating space over behind, and they're going to get caught out if they don't succeed in getting their scores.
Let's take another look at how Kieran Joyce ended up on the floor.
His own man down in through the back of him. It's a very, very sore place to get a knee.
Well, it has been a fast and furious first 23 minutes, just the way Liam Cahill likes it. His team on the road for the second round in a row. They'll be back in Thurles for their next couple of games against the All-Ireland champions Limerick and Waterford. Pat Ryan and his team trying to make home advantage count here for the second week in a row. Kieran Joyce is back up. Tip have got the free and a chance for them to extend their lead. They've hit the last 4 points without reply. Second time they hit a run like that in this first half. Garrod O'Connor looking to make it 5, and he pushes that just inside that post and over the bar. 2 for him, 5 in a row for Tip. Robert Downey, the Cork full forward line, living on scraps. O'Flynn, Patrick Horgan moved one way, O'Flynn hit the pass the other, and the pieces picked up by Cathal Barrett to Garrod O'Connor. Tip have wrestled control of the middle of the field and of the pace and the tempo. Noel McGrath this time has to fire it inside. All his options long were cut off there. Lovely necklace of passes. Alan Tynan turns onto his left-hand side, and Alan Tynan is really making himself at home. 2 points for him, 12 for Tip, and they've surged 5 points clear.
Tip are so clinical with their possession. Cork have had it. They're just not converting. Robbie O'Flynn wild at the far end, and it turns into a Tynan point. Cork really feeling the distance since their last score now.
So it's Tip who are hunting a first Munster title since 2016. We're making the early running. Here's Owen Downey. Cuts through, shortens the grip, and fires wide. Really should have scored. Cork look rattled, Seamus, at the moment.
Yeah, well, Tip are just that much more clinical with everything that they have.
Barry Hogan's puck out leads to Sean Ryan from Temple-Derry, trying to make something happen. He had Cahalane for company, and James Owens flags that as a Cork sideline ball. No Cork score now for 10 minutes, and during that time, Seamus, Tip have hit 6 points down at the other end.
And it really, Cork absolutely need a response at this point. So, like, the 10 minutes that they've had chances, shots, runs, They've turned it over too many times. Cork or Tip have made them pay.
So much talk during the week about momentum and consistency. Cork still struggling for both here, but still very early days. That ball runs through to Damien Cahalane. Has support outside from Declan Dalton. Two men up top for Cork. So much space in front of Patrick Horgan. Again, lovely silky skills, and Patrick Horgan, the artist at work. 4 points for the Cork number 14.
Yeah, he really strikes me as a man who's on a mission this year to right the wrongs of him being on the bench last year. Incredible score when Cork needed the most.
Cork trying to put pressure on the short tip, puck out. Somehow, though, the ball squirts back towards the tip side, and they turn defence into attack. Damien Cahalane just stuck a hurley at it to knock it away from danger. Collins advanced from the goal quickly, and Declan Dalton is bottled up and shut down, and it's that man again, Alan Tynan. Well, he was very sought after during his early sporting days, Alan Tynan. Terrific rugby player, but Munster's loss has been Tipperary's gain by the looks of things.
Yeah, and even just that small little bit of physical intent just to try and intimidate the Cork players. It's an intense physical battle out there around the middle, and Alan Tynan is really making his presence felt on the scoreboard as well as around the breaking ball.
Well, since Declan Dalton's goal in the 5th minute, Tip have outscored Cork by 11 points to 3. They really have responded positively and emphatically since that ball hit the net. That sideline cut was aimless. Cork again surrender possession. This time it's Tipperary, though, who are outnumbered in the full forward line. Tip felt they deserved a free there, nothing doing. Niall O'Leary back to Ger Mellerick. And the ball just driven into acres and acres of empty ground. Ronan Maher jogs across. There wasn't a Cork man within 20 or 30 yards of that delivery. Cork have been really knocked out of their stride. The tip sweeper is in position as Cork try to go down the left-hand side, and for once Patrick Horgan's first touch lets him down. But the Cork attack, Seamus, we've got a really good view here. It's lost all its shape and all its
with the space
its positional sense in the last few minutes.
Created inside, they're just not getting the pace to get out to the ball, which is surprising me. Tipper winning the battle from the full back line all the way up the field.
Alan Tynan takes a touch, runs down the blind alley, though there was left for him, the trap that was set by Cork. Cork get 3 or 4 men in around that loose ball. Now the Tip lads join in. Just under 6 minutes of normal time left in the first half as we await for somebody to take control of this situation. Pulled on first time by Declan Dalton, but again the Cork half-forward line absent without leave, and Tip can mop it up and service Jake Morris. He got out in front of Niall O'Leary. He draws the foul off Declan Dalton, and Jake Morris can reflect on a job well done.
Yeah, great primary possession ball winning by Jake Morris. He's really gotten physically stronger as a player this year. O'Leary is really tight to him. Ball comes in. He's a guy that really feels like, I think he's grown into a leadership role in this Tipperary team. And with Jason Ford now, after going off with that unfortunate injury, like, Morris will be looked to as that guy in the full forward line.
Well, this Tipperary team well stocked with good, natural, talented hurlers. They have serious firepower up front. Nobody more lethal than Jake Morris. He wins the free. Garrod O'Connor tops it over, deputising extremely well for the injured Jason Ford. That's 3 points for O'Connor since he took over the free-taking duties. And Tip's lead is out to 5. Fierce scrap for the break. Shane Barrett goes surging through the gap and he was pulled back. No advantage coming. Dan McCormack there just impeding Barrett's progress.
It did feel like the first time in the last 10 that Cork came away with a ball that was rucked, a ball that broke down and was fought for on the ground. Shane Barrett there again, he's got pace to burn, and it's going to take that hard running, it's going to take a hard ball winning, I think, for Cork to really level back this up.
Well, in the last 15 minutes, Cork outscored by 7 points to 1. Tip are stringing together these passages of play where they're padding out the lead, turning the possession into scores on the board. And it's Páirc Horgan who's single-handedly trying to keep Cork in touch. 5 points for him. So Páirc Horgan drawing closer and closer to that 600 points in championship hurling tally. Loose ball, again won by a tip man, and again it's Alan Tynan. Such a dynamic, forceful presence. Tynan's hurt though, injured in that collision. Cork have managed to hold the line, and it's Shane Barrett who lets it go long. Brilliant catch in the air. That was Ronan Maher, I think, who went highest to win that ball.
He was.
So good in the air, so good on the ground. He's the complete package, is Ronan Maher. Paul O'Dwyer has given the free to Cork. Again, the Tip crowd, well, they saw it the other way.
Yeah. Alan Tynan's out here talking to the referee. He feels really aggrieved where his run through the middle there, legs were taken clean out from under him. Felt it on his shoulder. You can see it right here as he's going through the middle. Tommy O'Connell really cleaned him out. Most of the times that's a free, and I think Alan Tynan was telling the referee how much he disagreed with him.
Well, this game, Seamus, is being played though with so much intensity, with so much pace and power. You don't envy Paul O'Dwyer. Robbie O'Flynn there trying to execute the spectacular catch, but the ball had already crossed the line. 90 seconds or thereabouts of normal time left. Tipperary sitting very comfortably on a 4-point lead.
Yeah, and as physical as it's been, Mike, Tipperary have been the more composed. They've been the ones more willing to spread the ball around the field and keep the structure and the shape. Too many times Cork have hit the ball into Tipperary defenders that have been sitting on their own, normally Ronan Maher.
Of course, Cork beat Tip by 12 points in the Munster Championship last year. Revenge will be on the agenda, you can be sure. Here's Robbie O'Flynn. Robbie O'Flynn with a brilliant goal. And Cork hit back right at the stroke of half-time. He rolled the tackles, he shortened the grip, and he finished in real style.
The method is the exact same. Hard run straight through the middle of the Tip defence. There's a lot of talk about how many steps he took. The Tip defenders are really, really upset about that. But again, why was Robbie O'Flynn included in his team from the beginning? It was because of his ability to run and to run fast at the Tip defence. That's what Cork identified as their best chance of victory here today.
Well, this Cork team has pace in every line, and Robbie O'Flynn epitomises that speed, that line-breaking ability. Right now he's down and receiving attention, injured after he scored the goal. As we tick into additional time and Shane Kingston gets ready to come in. Cork thinking about making a temporary substitution here if Robbie O'Flynn isn't fit to continue before half-time. But that goal from Robbie O'Flynn, Seamus, has changed everything.
An absolute tonic for Cork. Absolutely desperately needed by them. Have been outplayed, I would say, for the last 15 minutes, nearly 20 minutes. And all it took was a sideline cut that was intercepted. When you're turned over, when you're attacking, you're most vulnerable. And Ronan Maher was out of position when he took that sideline. and Robbie O'Flynn made him pay.
So Cork make that change. Shane Kingston on for his 34th championship appearance. The man from Douglas replaces Robbie O'Flynn. What a shame that goal from Robbie O'Flynn looks like it will be his last contribution to this game, as Cork's Kieran Joyce wins the puck out, wins the free. And you just get the feeling that goal has reinvigorated Cork.
Reinvigorated the Cork crowd for absolutely sure. Patrick Collins now has the free.
So we'll have at least 4 minutes of additional time. Shane Kingston races out to the wing. Another one of these really pacey, skillful Cork forwards. This time trying to turn provider. Cork looking to draw level. Just wide. That was Owen Downey who took on the shot. 7 wides for Cork in this first half.
And it's amazing, Shane Kingston's first impression was to go at his marker, was to go at Kieran Breen and to attack the Tipperary goal. But when he recycled the ball, Owen Downey just wasn't the guy to give the ball to.
Robbie O'Flynn getting a great reception as he makes his way off the field. Sean Ryan down at the other end looking to hit back for Tip. Sean Ryan, breeze at his back, unable to steer it on target. It's just a 4th wide for Tip, who have been extremely efficient by and large. But it's the goals from Declan Dalton and Robbie O'Flynn that have kept Cork in contention. Excellent play by Brian O'Mara, but again he was closed down quickly. Trying to bulldoze forward there was Ger Mellerick. Paul O'Dwyer is giving them every chance. Tommy O'Connell eventually emerges with the sliotar. Back to Robert Downey. Ball taken in the air by Shane Kingston. He's thinking goal, bearing down on goal, forced to check his run, change direction. And Shane Kingston has been penalised for overcarrying. Wouldn't have counted, free out.
That's incredible defending by Michael Breen. Absolutely unbelievable to have that space in front of you with Shane Kingston running at you and to stand him up and force an overcarry. Incredible defending.
Kingston asking the hard questions. Michael Breen coming up with the answers, as down at the other end it's Mark Keogh. Well, he only needs a half a yard, the Tip substitute. So accurate, so dangerous. And Tipperary just give themselves a little bit of breathing space again.
And that's big because Cork thought they'd have free down the other end with Shane Kingston. Instead of a level game, they're 2 points down.
Puck out lands on top of Dara Fitzgibbon. Hasn't been anywhere near as effective this evening as he was against Waterford. But he's won a free here, and this will give Patrick Horgan a chance to cut the gap to the bare minimum again.
Interesting to see, you've got the sun directly into the eyes of Patrick Horgan here as he takes the free. What sort of a sun will we have in the second half when Tipper are the ones shooting into it?
Sun really is becoming now more and more of an issue as it starts to set away behind the city end. Can Patrick Horgan cope with the conditions? Well, I think he feels it was a good strike, but the umpire waves it wide. And there goes the half-time whistle. What a fast and frenetic first half it's been. Liam Cahill's Tipperary team will go to the dressing rooms in front. But suffice to say, everything still to play for here at Páirc Chaoimh. Cork starting this game like a train, racing into an early lead, but Tipperary have played themselves back into contention, put themselves in front, and at the break it's anybody's guess who'll come out on top. Tip leading by 14 points to Cork, 2 goals and 6. So at this stage, let's head down to the sideline, check in with Aisling O'Reilly and get some reaction from the Tipperary camp.
Yes, thanks Mike. I'm here with Declan laughing. Declan, what did you make of that first half?
Look, it was hectic stuff. Cork got off to a great start. Look, I thought we were excellent. We fought our way back in, but look, we gave up a poor goal there 5 minutes ago. So look, it's all to play for again.
Yeah, that first half had everything, but they done well, Tipperary, to really get back into the game after that fast start by Cork.
Yeah, look, I think we were the dominant team probably for 25 minutes of that half. Like, I think we outscored them maybe 11 points to 2 in that middle area. So it's just the start and the last few minutes.
You lost Jason Ford there after about 15 minutes. It looked like he was holding his hamstring. Was that what it was?
Yeah, a bit of a hamstring. So look, he's gone unfortunately, but sure, look, we have to get on with it.
Brilliant. Okay, thanks, Declan. I'll let you get inside. Thank you.
So great to get the thoughts of Tipperary selector Declan Laffin there. He heads into the dressing room to join the rest of the Tip squad. There's the state of play. Tipperary 14 points, Cork 2-6. Don't go away. We're back with analysis of that first half next.
But it is all to play for here in Páirc. 2 points separate the sides. So we've had a number of injuries. Lads have gone off. Garrett O'Connor's taking over the freeze. Tipperary's coming out. So from your perspective now, Bubbles, like what do you want to see from Tipperary in the second half?
I suppose the main thing is to make sure that the middle is shorn up. Like, Cork have created goal chances, and I don't think Tip have created any. So I suppose on the Tipperary side, create a couple of goal chances. Jason going off, there's that bit of experience gone from the inside line maybe. John McGrath, Seamus Callanan on the sideline, maybe you could see them.
What about from Cork?
Cork are 2 points down, having created 4 goal-scoring opportunities. Shane Kingston's on instead of Robbie O'Flynn. Get the ball into the inside guys and go at him again, in for a cracker.
OK, let's head back then to our commentary team for the second half. Seamus Hickey, but first, Mike Finnerty.
Thanks, Grania. Welcome back. Looks like Liam Cahill has made a change in his attack. Conor Bowe, number 17 from Moyne Temple Tewey, is on, and Sean Ryan looks to be the player who has been replaced as the second half gets underway. Cork will have the breeze at their backs. They'll be shooting down towards the Blackrock end away to our right as Shane Barrett gets on the ball again. Onto his left-hand side. Stopped in his tracks by Brian O'Mara. Made his championship debut against Clare. And solid as a rock at the heart of the Tip defence. Kieran Joyce bats this down towards Mellerick. Shortens the grip again. Tommy O'Connell. And all of a sudden Cork are looking to feed that forward line. Good, strong, purposeful run by Michael Breen. Tynan. Seamus Kennedy. He's hit 2 already, looking for a hat-trick of spectacular points. But that breeze maybe starting to tell.
Yeah, that's almost a fitting into the opening sequence of play here. Very disjointed. Shane Barrett carrying the ball into a block. Just a bit of inexperience there. And Seamus Kennedy shooting wide from far out.
Patrick Collins looking for Shane Kingston. Nice touch to knock it into the path of Shamie Harnedy. So quiet in the first half. Maybe that will get him up and running. Cork opened the scoring at the start of this second half. Early chance here for Conor Bowe to show us what he can do. Damien Cahalane joined to him at the hip. Owen Downey there seemed to be pulling back Mark Keogh. There was certainly a tug there on the tip forward, spotted by Paul O'Dwyer. Well, probably should have got the first free, gets the second.
Yeah, if there's ever a thing in close physical contact that's going to get you pulled by the referee, it is a jersey or a pair of shorts. Look at all the contact here, look at the hands, and then just a small tug of the shorts for the defender. You're just not going to get away with it. It's too visible. Gerard O'Connor now with a chance to put Tip 2 points back ahead.
Well, you talk about shock and awe. There was a 15-minute period in the first half where Tip outscored Cork by 10 points to 1. That was between the 10th and 25th minutes. They really did put on an exhibition. But the Cork goals from Declan Dalton and Robbie O'Flynn, who's been forced off, They've kept the home side in the hunt. Garrod O'Connor has missed the free. That's 2 wides for Tip in the first couple of minutes here.
It's a trickier end to shoot into. You're shooting into the sun and you're shooting against the breeze.
Certainly the sun is going to cause issues for the Tip defence and their goalkeeper in particular, but they deal with this latest Cork delivery. Seamus Kennedy hurling up a storm at wing back. Conor Bowe, he's been brought into the Tip attack to try and turn the screw, but that drops short. Patrick Collins picks out Declan Dalton, and the former Cork underage goalkeeper manages to slip it to the runner Owen Downey. But there's that Tip work rate and intensity again, right in front of a very pleased Liam Cahill. Noel McGrath, as always, head up. Switches the play to Kennedy, who in turn delivers a diagonal ball into the Tip forward line. It breaks kindly. It's a chance for Conor Stakelum, and he's taken it with both hands. Well, the variety in Tip's attacking play there, it caused so many problems for Cork. It just pulled them out of their comfort zones, and Stakelum pushes Tip 2 up.
Yeah, Cork are going to have to do something about Seamus Kennedy being a wide open 3 times over on the opposite wing for Tip as an out ball.
Brian O'Mara again, keeping it simple. Noel McGrath, and there's another pinpoint pass in towards Bowe. This one though just bounces off him. Kieran Joyce avails of the break, and Robert Downey lets it go long in towards Kingston. Quick look over his shoulder. That was all he needed. He knew exactly where the goals were. Kingston's first point is right out of the top drawer.
Yeah, it's great for Kingston now to actually get his feet settled under him. He's been on a lot of balls since he came in now, but to get a score is great.
Attendance confirmed here, 36,765 captivated watching these 2 traditional Munster heavyweights. Tynan grappling for it with Brian Roach, and away goes Conor Stakelum again. Mark Keogh is just ahead of him, accelerates away from the defenders. Great skill, still going, and across to cover from nowhere comes Declan Dalton. Well, he tracked the run, he sensed the danger, and Cork clear it away. Ronan Marr again, imperious in the air. He's got such a great hand, Ronan Marr. Here he is again. Noel McGrath just lazily stroking that ball out towards Seamus Kennedy, trying to thunder forward from wing back. Good work by Shane Barrett. Well, there's certainly no place to hide out here this evening. Tynan, lovely sidestep to wrong foot Dalton. He's hurling with such confidence and style, and Alan Tynan has hit 3 terrific points. The Tipperary midfielder coming into his own.
Yeah, what a step from Tynan inside. Great use of his feet, and it pays Cork for their misuse of the ball down the field. They're getting the ball in their own backline, but they're using it badly.
Seamie Harnedy looking to take on his man, looking to wipe out that score from Tynan. That's 3 points for Seamie Harnedy. They're going score for score in the third quarter.
It's great to see Seamie Harnedy coming into the game. We did not hear from him in the first half, despite the fact that he looked for him for puckouts, but that was a great score off his right.
Owen Downey backpedaling at full stretch. Just lost the ball when he landed. That's a big hit from Jake Morris. He was determined to get his hands on the ball. Morris has shot wide. Well, the crowd are incensed over in the north stand. That incident happening just in front of them. It was a heavy collision initially. No free given, all's fair in love and war, as Conor Lehan joins the fray 7 minutes into the second half. Pat Ryan feels it's time to make a change, and it's Shane Barrett who's coming out.
Yeah, Jake Morris got a lot of attention from the Cork defenders there, but it's very hard to be to be annoyed at the guy when you kicked it into his hand, he just took the challenge. Very, very hard to be annoyed at Jake Morris if you're anybody else other than Tip or Cork.
Well, nobody taking a step back, that's for sure. The tackles thundering in. Conor Bowe, quickest to react to the breaking ball, finds Jake Morris. Thought about taking on the man, instead feeds it back to Conor Bowe. Time and space were at a premium, and the Tip wide count starting to climb now. They're up to 8, that's 4 in the space of some 8 minutes. Poor puck out from Patrick Collins, right down on top of Noel McGrath, who returns it into the Cork goalkeeper. This time, nobody at home in the Tip full forward line, and Collins gets a second chance to clear his lines. Gerard Mellerick forced to come back inside. Kieran Joyce hits it right down on top of the Tip sweeper, Ronan Marr, who's patrolling that area in front of Horgan. Tynan's first touch is good. Again, he's got the power and the intent to beat the first couple of defenders, but Conor Stakelum lost his hurley and possession. Robert Downey challenged by Jake Morris, and the free goes against the Tip full forward, who looks bemused by the decision.
Yeah, there was too many hands here. Like, again, if you're talking about the execution with too many hands in there, you can't do it. But it just has the feel of two teams here after they came out from the halftime break, as two boxers feeling each other out. There's a few jabs going in there just to see where the gaps in the defence are. There's a bit of a tit for tat going. Conor Bowe had a couple of misses off of good work. Cork aren't having any joy down the far end with the Tip spare man. It just has this feeling that they're feeling each other out, seeing where the big haymaker's going to come.
So it's Declan Dalton, the man who's gone from impact sub to starter. Dalton, he couldn't have hit it any sweeter. 1-1 for the man from Father O'Neill's, who's brought his club championship form from last season into the Cork camp. And the sides are deadlocked at Páirc Uí Chaoimh, 10 minutes into the second half. Level for the 4th time. Great catch by Garrod O'Connor. That's what he's there for. A puck out target for the goalkeeper Barry Hogan. Tip managed to work the ball into the hands of Noel McGrath. He's got the vision to pick out O'Connor. Garrod O'Connor, chased by 2 defenders, needs support, goes for the goal and gets it. Garrod O'Connor hits Tipperary's 6th goal of this Munster championship. There was just no stopping him.
It's just incredible how you can keep your head when everybody else is losing theirs. Noel McGrath feeds him inside, but look at the bodies Garrod O'Connor had to beat. I was amazed with all that help defence back that Cork conceded. Great finish by Garrod O'Connor.
1-3 for O'Connor, 1-16 for Tip. Dan McCormack manages to release it just in the nick of time to Ronan Marr. Liam Cahill has programmed this team to go for goals, and here's the ace finisher himself, Jake Morris. Lovely balance and skill. 2 points for Jake Morris.
Yeah, no, again, Garrod O'Connor in possession, managed to pop the ball back to Jake Morris, and it is the big players for Tip, the Noel McGraths, the Jake Morrises, that are standing up now in the face of this Cork wave of pressure.
That was beautifully done by Garrod O'Connor in the build-up. Yellow for Tommy O'Connell. Well, just when Cork had got back on level terms, they've been hit for 1-1 by Tipperary, and the pendulum swings again. Conor Lehane knocks it down to himself, looking to make an instant impact. Well, he knows this place like the back of his hand. Made his championship debut 12 years ago, and Lehane is up and running.
Yeah, and Lehane was the #1 ball winner from puckouts last week against Waterford. Was surprised he was left off the team, making an impact when he came on now.
This puckout goes right down the middle. Shadows starting to lengthen. The floodlights are on here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Noel McGrath pops it off to Dan McCormack. two of the All-Ireland medal winners in this Tip team. Now they'll have to dig deep to use all that experience, all that big game know-how to try and manage this situation. McCormack's been fouled.
Yeah, again, bad tackle technique from Seamus Hardy. When you put your hand in over the shoulder of the man in possession, you were asking for the referee to blow on you. And frees are not what Cork need to concede at the moment. They need to be picking their way back into and getting a response to that Tipperary goal.
Tim O'Mahony is on for Cork. They're taking out Owen Downey. Tim O'Mahony was a regular in the Cork team in recent seasons, has lost his place coming into this championship as Pat Ryan tries to change it up in the Cork defence. So Garrod O'Connor to strike this free. Not to be on this occasion. Wide of the city end. Another missed chance for Tip. Ball played into space. That space now filled by Shane Kingston. He's a moving target. Nothing obvious on short. Goes for another spectacular one. Just forced it a little.
And that ball into space is on for Cork, just not turning it into scores. In the first half, they only had 2 points from play on top of the goals. They really do need to start hitting their mark.
The Cork attack just not firing as smoothly as they did here last Sunday. Hit 27 points against Waterford, but it was a completely different sort of game. Here's Seamus Harnedy. Loves the battle. Harnedy taken out of it in full flight. Well, Tip feel he's making the most of it, obviously. Dan McCormack is not showing much sympathy. Now, what will Paul O'Dwyer do here?
Cathal Barrett, Seamus Hardy gets into possession here, and if you go out to tackle, you have to be on the money. He could not miss, and he missed high. So it'll be interesting to see what Paul does here.
Cathal Barrett it was who came in with the hurley high on Harnedy. As Seamus said, he's down as well, the Tipperary defender. Paul O'Dwyer is waiting for him to get back to his feet, I think. But with 20 minutes to go, it's almost like a timeout, a chance to take a breath, Seamus. And just look at that scoreline now. Tip 2 up at half-time, still setting the pace.
Yeah, no, it's the goal for Tip really pushed back against the Cork period of pressure that was coming on them after the start of the second half. So Cathal Barrett is down here. He's looking to avoid the conversation with Paul O'Dwyer, I think, but it's inevitably going to come.
Well, Cathal Barrett plays on the edge and he's picked up a yellow. Not the first and won't be the last, I'm sure, Seamus, for Cathal Barrett. He's that sort of player. He was always going to make the tackle, but he mistimed it.
Yeah, but if you ask any forward, inter-county corner forward, who would like marking least, he's up there in the top 3. He's just so physical. He's just so relentless as a cornerback. I actually appreciate his style as a fellow defender, but I guarantee you Seamus Hardy did not.
So a brief pause in this fast, frenetic, end-to-end Munster Championship game, and Patrick Horgan hits 6 points now in this game. His 73rd championship match, and he closes the gap back to 2. Again, Tip quickest to get to the break. That was Seamus Kennedy. In towards Conor Bowe or Jake Morris, trying to work in tandem. Bowe makes the decoy run. That opens up the space, and Jake Morris makes the most of it. He's up to 3 points now. The man from Nina Airog and he restores that Tip lead.
Morris answering the bell again, but it's Seamus Kennedy around the middle field. Tipperary are winning the midfield. I haven't heard Darragh Fitzgibbon's name, Brian Roach's name in a long time. Tip are winning that area of the field.
Liam Cahill has just sent in the All-Star, the All-Ireland winner, John McGrath, one of the very best of the Tip forwards on his day. Well, Cork had stopped there. I think they were anticipating a free that hasn't come, and Tip, well, they didn't switch off, and they've scored a point. Now, I'm not quite sure why there was such confusion there.
It was actually hard to understand what actually happened when Rob Downey had the ball in his hand. Yeah, the ball was stripped out of his hand. Kehoe, Cork were lucky, they stopped playing. They were lucky Kehoe didn't go on for the killer blow.
So Mark Kehoe takes the point, and Cork are left to count the cost of that lapse in concentration. They seem to anticipate a free going Rob Downey's way. And as you said, Seamus, if Kehoe had taken that on, he was in on goal.
Yeah, he literally stripped it out of his hand. Wow, that's a great piece of play. And if he actually popped it over, Morris was free. So Cork were lucky there was only 1 point.
Declan Dalton trying everything he knows there to play that ball over his head. Brian Roach does well. He's been on the periphery of this game for long stages, but now it's Cork need him and others to step up again. Free to Tip. Well, the bodies are piling in from left, right and centre, and again Paul O'Dwyer had to make a decision, and he's given a free for a foul on Dan McCormack as Luke Meade is sent in. Named to start, was left out in a tactical change, and now he's in to try and bring some pace and energy, presumably to that middle third.
Yeah, no, Luke Meade again, a man with pace to burn. They're going to try and make an impact in that middle of the field where they've just not been able to keep tabs on Tynan, Seamus Kennedy, Noel McGrath. They've all had their way in that part of the field. But if I'm Cork, I'm aggrieved that Dan McCormack getting a free there, as we saw on the replay.
Again, this ball is going to drop invitingly in front of the Tip inside line. Mark Kehoe back to Alan Tynan. Thought about the pass, takes on the shot, and Alan Tynan, well, he really hasn't put a foot wrong in just his second ever championship game. He has been the midfield general for Tipperary.
It just all seems to be coming together for Tip. So Kehoe winning ball, laying off. Morris on the other end of the bowl pass. They're just putting the pieces together better tonight. And even though Cork have had sporadic bursts of goals and flashes of brilliance for individual players, the Tipperary are putting it together more consistently, and that's why they're ahead.
5 points between the teams again. Doesn't seem that long ago that they were level. The Tip have upped the ante and Cork have been unable to stay with them. Ger Mellerick bided his time, stayed on the floor. There's a Cork man down where that ball broke as Shane Kingston twists this way and that, then gives it back to Conor Lahan. Angle is tight and too tight, and that's now 10 wides for Cork. Well, they talk about shooting efficiency in the modern game, Seamus. It's been a major issue for Cork tonight.
But it's actually got a lot to do with their setup. They're withdrawing bodies to try and compete in the middle. They're withdrawing their half-forward line. Shane Kingston wins the ball between the 21 and the 45, but has to travel outside the 45 to get any help. No off-the-shoulder running, which Cork would have been known for the last 3 years. Like, here we have Kehoe fighting for the ball. Oh, we've got a collision there with Kieran Joyce. Yeah.
So Kieran Joyce in the wars again. One of those Cork players that have won a couple of All-Ireland under-20 medals, was always expected to make the step up to senior hurling, and has very impressively in the last couple of seasons, but looks like he's going to have to leave the field at least for a couple of minutes. He's going to have to be patched up.
Yeah, and he's going to have to be careful shaving for the next several weeks. That's one of those things he's going to get stitched. He's going to be brought back in, assuming there's no other head injury involved, hopefully.
Conor Cahalane it is who's sent in, another of the Bars contingent, the county champions, well represented in this Cork squad, as Lahan goes herring down along that left wing. Dara Fitzgibbon into the line and over the bar. Well, he's missed so much hurling this season. Just came back into the team last Sunday, and Cork are going to need a huge last 10 minutes from him now.
Yeah, and they need that off-the-shoulder running. They need that pace that they were attacking Tip with in the first half, making them uncomfortable. The Dara Fitzgibbon is too good a player to be peripheral for Cork. He is one of their key men. He reminds you of Mark Coleman, how much they look to him, and his impact last week against Waterford from the middle of the field. They need him involved.
We've had quite a few stoppages now in this second half, just breaking up the rhythm and the flow of the game. The latest is to allow Alan Tynan from Rossgrey to get some attention. Noel McGrath with the bounce pass to Dan McCormick. McGrath is just sitting in the pocket. He'd already played the pass in his mind, and now he delivers it to Mark Keogh. Again, Conor Bowe just pulled away to make space, and Keogh has struck it high and over the bar. Cork are absolutely furious. Damien Cahalane feels that was wide. Let's take another look, Seamus.
Yeah, look, from here it was over the bar. It's snuck inside the inside of that post. It's without Hawkeye, it's hard to get it when it goes above the post.
Mark Keogh is up to 3 points now. Tipperary looking to pull away. They've missed this latest chance. 11 wides and counting. Well, that win over Clare 2 weeks ago ended a run of 6 successive championship defeats for Tip. Can they put back-to-back wins together, or have Cork got a kick left? It's Shane Kingston. Comes up with the goods for a second time.
Kingston is proving again and again he's able to win ball. This time, instead of going out past the 45, he stops, uses his pace to accelerate, then again put the ball over the bar. That's more like it, Shane Kingston.
Barry Hogan from Killadangan looking for Mark Keogh, runs through to Ger Mellerick. He had a posse of Tip men after him.
And who got the hook? Jake Morris.
Well, he's been asked to do so many different things by Liam Cahill this season. He's finishing as well as ever, but his work rate and his role in the team game shown there as he chased down the Cork man, and John McGrath was in tow.
He's hugely impressive this year, Jake Morris. It's hard to understate it, because in previous years so much was expected of him. He's delivering now.
Ger Mellerick uses his pace. Declan Dalton, and again the delivery is long and hanging in the air. Kingston is in there, Horgan, and here's Harnedy. Shamie Harnedy links with Patrick Horgan, and he's been fouled. Well, that I think was an ironic cheer from the Cork crowd, who felt that was overdue.
Yeah, hard there, because Johnny Ryan did exceptionally well, I thought, to stand him up. But he caught the face guard, unfortunately. And he catch the helmet. They're giving away frees.
So more fresh legs into the Tipperary team. Enda Heffernan, who made his championship debut against Clare. He will replace Conor Stakelum. Here's Patrick Horgan. He turns 35 in a few weeks' time. That's his 7th point. And the all-time top scorer in the championship. Draws Cork to within 3 points of their oldest and greatest rivals with 8 minutes of normal time to play. Possession won by Damien Cahalane to Kieran Joyce. Tried to play the short pass to Luke Meade, who just wasn't expecting it. It's Noel McGrath. He turns away. He punches the air. He knew it. The Tipperary crowd knew it. There was never any doubt. But Cork really only have themselves to blame. Another mistake, another interception, another point for Mark Keogh. 2 in the space of 30 seconds. Tipperary extend their lead. They're 5 clear again.
Yeah, you can see here in set. Patrick Collins trying to go for the shot, kick puck out, but Rob Downey again, bad hands.
Down at the other end, it's a goal chance. It's in. Lahan's effort. Fitzgibbon was in after it, but now the question is, will it stand?
Oh, that looked like it was travelling over the line anyway. And he was running at the time. It's very, very hard to see how they're going to overturn this.
Well, the question here would seem to be, was Dara Fitzgibbon in the square before the ball arrived? Was Lahan's effort already over the line?
No, he definitely was the last person with the touch.
The goal is given.
Yeah, he was moving too fast. There's no way that you could call that a back against him. Great stuff by Harnedy. His second half has been so much better. And then Lahan pulls on it. It was going in anyway. Dan Fitzgibbon's after robbing his goal, but that's great stuff for Cork. Now the game on.
For the 3rd time in the match, Cork strike for a goal. And they're right back in it. They've got the crowd behind them. It's Tim O'Mahony. Cork are on a roll again. Up there on the Blackrock end, they had the perfect view of this shot from Tim O'Mahony. Cork are back to within a single point of Tip again. They just refuse to bend the knee.
Yeah, and Barry Hogan slowing things down now. He doesn't want that Cork crowd shouting this team on.
5.5 minutes to go. And it's just like old times in the Munster Championship. Cork and Tip going toe-to-toe. Jake Morris penalised. The pressure applied by Declan Dalton.
Yeah, now we're seeing the impact of Tim O'Mahony. Now we're seeing the big bodies of Declan Dalton on the breaking ball. Just stand him up, let him carry Jake Morris there. He's trying to win the free for the contact that's coming in on him, but no foul there.
Well, the crowd of just over 36,500 people, they are literally on the edge of their seats.
It's hard to imagine how Tip let this happen. They were so comfortable, but Cork were right back in it.
Well, they look to be cruising, Tipperary, capitalising on all those Cork mistakes. Declan Dalton is fist pumping as that ball is in the air. And that's why. What a strike from Declan Dalton. The sides are level. Dan McCormack to Mark Keogh. He's in again. Keogh! Tipperary strike back. The goal-scoring machines that Liam Cahill have built. Well, they've just done it again. And Mark Keogh is having one of the games that he'll remember for the rest of his days. 1-4 for the Tip sub. Horgan down at the Blackrock end, backpedaling. He'll get a 65. Well, just when it looked like Cork had Tip where they wanted them, Tip go and do that.
Yeah, and it's Dan McCormack again. So like the vision of the established players in that Tipperary team, the Noel McGrath, the Dan McCormacks, they're always there. And it was him that released Mark Keogh. Mark Keogh for me has been incredibly impressive since he came on in the first half.
Well, they score goals for fun all through the Allianz League. Tipperary 14 in 5 games. They're up to 7 in their last 2 championship matches. Cork need this from Patrick Horgan. He nails it. 8 points, just like he hit here against Waterford. And that makes it a 2-point game again. Mark Keogh to Seamus Kennedy. Kennedy, there was just no stopping him. He's up to 3 points now, the man from St Mary's. But again, it was Mark Keogh pulling the strings and causing Cork all sorts of problems.
Yeah, Tipperary have to be extremely happy with the return they're getting from their inside line. This is incredible team play, willingness to win primary possession. And we've got Seamus Catlin after arriving onto the field. This is a big sub for Tip.
So a double substitution happening. In for Cork is Brian Hayes, the former county footballer, and Seamus Callanan is back in action, the former hurler of the year, looking to help Tip see this out. And it's Conor Bowe, the player who's made way. 90 seconds of normal time to play. Anything could happen. Dara Fitzgibbon trying to combine there with Brian Hayes. Ball played back to Tim O'Mahony. Here's Kingston. Kingston, he's got a man in the middle. It's another goal. It's Brian Hayes. It wasn't quite his first touch, but he's only been on the field a matter of moments. Kingston to Hayes. And the substitution has worked out brilliantly for Cork, Pat Ryan and Brian Hayes.
And Hayes started off that movement in the first place. The intricacy of the play. Dara Fitzgibbon driving the ball across the square. Tim O'Mahony getting the touch, feeding Kingston. Kingston making the correct decision and feeding Hayes. That's a really, really, really excellently executed goal.
The sides are level for the 6th time. Who will blink first? Cork have looked second best for long stages, but Brian Hayes, a man who hit 416 from play for the Bars last year in the Cork Club Championship, has come up with a golden goal.
Pat Ryan's changes have really made an impact. Tim Mahoney has been impactful on both ends. And Brian Hayes the goal.
So we're into additional time. We're going to have at least 5 minutes. Alan Tynan still going strong, holding off all comers. A chance for Tip, a chance for Callanan. Patrick Collins came to take man and ball and knock it away. Callanan again shortens the grip. Well, class is permanent, and Seamus Callanan, sheer class for a man who's only on the field a couple of minutes.
Yeah, what an intervention by Patrick Collins as the ball. He took a quick puck out to find Shane Kingston running free down the right-hand side. Breathless stuff.
Conor Lahan held up, back to Kingston. Just glances at the post, fires it up and over the bar. 3 points for Kingston. Teams level again.
Yeah, Conor Lahan making an impact since he came in. Shane Kingston making much better use of the ball, Shane Kingston, since he's been able to get on it.
Puck out lands down on top of Kieran Joyce. Break won by Tip, won by Mark Keogh. Declan Dalton, he has given absolutely everything. Well, you'd expect both teams to be out on their feet. Will that extra week's rest now stand to Tip, or have Cork got the momentum? Dan McCormack has got the sliotar and he's won the free. What a warrior Dan McCormack has been again tonight.
Another example of what Dan McCormack does so well. Critical possession to win. 3 Cork bodies around him. No time for missed touches. Into the hand, takes the contact, wins the free. Dan McCormack definitely one of the most unnoticed and unrecognised elements of the All-Ireland wins in the 19 and 16.
Tip have handed the free-taking duties to John McGrath. The man for the big occasion takes on the shot and misses. Just wide at the city end. 11 wides for Tip. Patrick Collins gives the short one, takes the return, lashes it down towards the Cork full forward line. Cathal Barrett trying to lift it. Horgan and company watching his every move. Barrett driving out with that ball. The legs pumping. He was not prepared to give up possession, and he wins the free with 2 minutes to go. Seamus, let's jump in at this stage. Tell us, who's your man of the match?
The man of the match for me has to be Alan Tynan. He's been incredible start to finish all day long. Points from play, physical, winning the ball in the ground when it needs to be won. He took the fight to Cork today.
So Alan Tynan, scorer of 4 points from play tonight in just his second game of senior championship hurling, is Seamus's Ayr man of the match, as Paul O'Dwyer gives a free to Kieran Joyce, who's been patched up. He's back in the game and back on duty as gatekeeper at the heart of the Cork defence.
Yeah, so now we're at the stage where both teams, any mistake, a free, could be the deciding of the game. Cathal Barrett won a broken ball down the far end, came out, won a ball, won a free. Now the far end, Kieran Joyce does the same. Both teams on tenterhooks here.
There's our man of the match, Alan Tynan from Ross Gray.
He's really been fantastic.
Looks like a man who's running on fumes.
Yeah, I know. He gave Seamus Kennelly a golden opportunity for a goal, only for Patrick Collins' incredible save. He's done it all today.
Well, what must Pat Ryan and Liam Cahill be thinking right now? They've tried everything to get the upper hand on each other, and right now we're still none the wiser. Just look at that scoreline.
What would a draw do to the Munster Championship round robin?
We've had 50 scores in 74.5 minutes.
And Cork have come back from the dead. So it's incredible, the ebbs and flow of this game, of the Munster Championship in general.
Well, will we have a 51st? Declan Dalton is sizing up to this free like a man on a mission. He's just inside his own 45. Breeze behind him, it's dropping. It had the distance, not the accuracy. The 5 minutes of additional time have been played. Was that Cork's last chance? Will Paul O'Dwyer let it continue a little longer? It looks like he will. Cathal Barrett, the All-Star, the All-Ireland medal winner, decides to let the Schlitter do the work and pumps it in towards Dan McCormack. Declan Dalton, who else had run across to close down the option to get the tackle in. What a game he's had.
Yeah, Declan Dalton has been very impressive out around the middle. When they weren't doing much in the first half, he was putting his body around. And him with that incredible goal in the first half, he's been all over the place for Cork.
Now we'll take the sideline cut, and there goes the full-time whistle. Honours even at Páirc Chaoimh after a roller coaster of a Munster Championship game. Tip looked to have it won a few times over, but Cork stuck to their tasks, and late goals, the latest of them from Brian Hayes, saw them claw their way back from the brink. And this latest clash of the heavyweights in Munster has finished in a draw.
Yeah, breathless stuff in the second half. Really, I would say, incredible character from Cork to stick at it when it looked like Tip had the composure and the fluency to put them away. And those goals, absolutely incredible stuff.
Well, both teams will be back in action in 2 weeks' time. Cork away to Clare in Ennis, Tip at home to the All-Ireland champions Limerick in Thurles. And what a prospect, Seamus, those games are now.
And this result sets up, and get your calculators out for the end of this round robin series, because the implications of this game was the loser was under incredible pressure, with Tip going to Limerick and Cork still having to face Clare. So to me now this really sets up a really exciting last 2 rounds of the Munster Championship.
Well, there was a brilliant headline in the Irish Examiner this morning. We now have a real championship, not a coronation. Cork and Tip can stake a claim. And after this draw tonight, Seamus, they'll both feel they are in the hunt for honours now this summer.
Absolutely. legitimate contenders across the board. In Leinster, Galway, Kilkenny, here in Munster, 4 legitimate contenders. There's going to be very, very little separating the 3rd and 4th team in this Munster Championship and who progresses and whose year is over.
Well, we wondered how many questions we would have answered here at Páirc Chaoimh this evening. I think we've got as many questions as ever after what we've seen. Tipperary and Cork deadlocked after 75 captivating minutes. Cork 4:19, Tipperary 2:25 it finished. And probably no harm, they've got a couple of weeks to rest, recover and recuperate after that game.
Yeah, and Clare Waterford now next week on GA Go. Well, these teams get a break. It's a frenetic championship, and playing week after week is such a toll on the body. If I'm Liam Cahill or if I'm Pat Ryan, I'm incredibly happy with, I'm proud of my players.
Well, my thanks to Seamus for his company and analysis. Let's head down to pitside and hear from the man of the match, Alan Tynan, who's with Aisling.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, congratulations, Alan Tynan. You are the Ayr man of the match, and Katrina Donegan is here from Ayr to present you with your award. Alan, congratulations. You have it there. You did pretty well on the pitch. You caught a lot of ball out there, so I'll let you away with that. 4 points from play. Can you sum up the game for us?
Yeah, I suppose very tough one to take. Bit of a whirlwind game, kind of. We got the upper hand in the first half and they flew back in with their goals, and then same again, but Cork just didn't stop fighting and they went to the very end there and picked off 2 goals. I suppose looking in from a team perspective, probably disappointed to concede those, but fair play to Cork. They were very clinical every chance they got, and we know the legs they have in their team, so just fair play to them.
And in particular was quite the midfield battle. What's it like to be in the middle there with Noel McGrath?
Yeah, look, I suppose watching on since whatever it was, 2008 when Noel made his debut, and growing up you wanted to be a Noel McGrath or a Chaoimh Callan, a Bonner Maher, those type of lads, and to play with them now is something special. And you go to training every day and you see these lads in action, and it's just unbelievable to see what they're like and to try learn off them. So yeah, trying to take as much as I can off the likes of Noel and stuff, but you've seen how good he was again out there today, and he'll stay battling till the very end. There's a couple of more games left, and I suppose as our captain he'll lead it, but we'll all row in behind him and fight on with him.
And this is just your second championship, senior championship game, Alan. There's an incredible atmosphere here in Páirc Chaoimh. The Munster Championship is so competitive. How much are you enjoying it?
Yeah, look, I suppose maybe the first day against Clare, let the nerves probably get the better of me a small bit. But no, I just kind of learned from that, and driving in, I just tried to take in the occasion, and unbelievable atmosphere, unbelievable stadium. So where else would you want to be on a Saturday evening?
And you're looking forward now to preparing for the next game?
Yeah, look, Limerick next, All-Ireland champions. I don't think I have to say much more about them. They're a serious side, but we'll regroup and we'll go again, and we'll fight hard too.
Brilliant, Alan. Well done tonight.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
So that's our Ayr man of the match, Alan Tynan. We're going to hear a lot more about him in the weeks and months to come. The Munster Championship keeps on giving. Gráinne and the panel will discuss this epic game when we come back after the break.